like the body is so amazing to my like every time he would nurse, I would bleed, and it was just so painful for me. So every time he would cry like to eat, I would cry because
Hello, everyone. You're listening to Baby Steps, sponsored by Oxford and Soho Baby, a podcast dedicated to exploring the personal and emotional journeys of parenting. I'm your host. My name is Medea. Today I have Shaquita, artist and mother of two. Shaquita, welcome to the show.
thank you so much for having me.
Of course, I'm excited.
Me too.
We're going to start with the Fast Five, where I ask you five questions back to back and you answer with the first thing that comes to your head.
Okay.
Okay. First is biggest pregnancy craving.
Oh, sushi.
Sushi. Okay, that's the first time I heard that.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, because
Would
when you're pregnant, you can't have raw fish. So it's like when you tell someone they can't have something, it's like, okay, I want it.
yeah, so did you eat it during your pregnancy?
I did not.
Oh, so you just craved it the whole
I craved
time.
it the entire time. Yeah.
Oh, that is awful. Which is worse? You run out of diapers or you run out of wipes?
Oh, oh my God. I would have to say diapers.
Diapers. Okay, yeah. I think that's what everybody says. That's a
Yeah.
good answer. One word to describe labor and one word to describe parenthood.
So I've actually never been in labor. I had two C-sections.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Still counts.
both of my births were planned.
Okay. So one word to describe parenthood?
Um, Tough.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a good one. Favorite baby product you can't live without?
Um, so let's see. I honestly would have it's so random, but I would have to say my breast milk.
That's a good one. Yeah, because you literally cannot parent without that.
Yeah, but I used my breast milk for so much more than just feeding the baby. So like, for ear infections, cradle cap, rashes, I used it for everything. I even cured my husband's flu with my breast milk. So,
Really? I didn't know it worked like that.
yeah, so like the body is so amazing to whatever the baby is exposed to, my body would produce antibodies for the baby. So, like, if, say, for instance, like when my husband was sick with the flu, I was exposed to my husband who had the flu. So, my body built up antibodies for the baby so that the baby would either like fight off the flu if they got it or never get it at all. So,
That is
yeah,
so cool.
yeah.
Wow. That is so cool. Last question. Most unexpected joy of motherhood.
Most unexpected joy. I believe it was the first time that both of my kids said, I love you. Um, you hear from your spouse, you hear from your parents, but when you raise up a person and they actually realize what those words mean and then like express that to you, this is somebody you've never met. So it's like the feeling of that, you don't expect like that, like, oh, it tugs on your heartstrings the first time you hear it. So that was I was not expecting to feel the way I felt the first time I heard it. So
Yeah, wow. And you know they mean it
yeah,
too. They're not
yeah,
just saying it. They're little kids. They don't have to say anything if they don't want to, and
exactly.
they mean it when they say that.
Yeah.
What was the most surprising part of pregnancy or birth that no one warned you about?
Um, so the most surprising part about my pregnancy was the round ligament pain.
What is that?
So basically it's like your hips, like I'm a fairly petite lady. I'm only 5 feet tall and at the time maybe 115 pounds. And the weight of my belly, like it really put a lot of pressure on like my hips. So they call that like
Oh,
round ligament pain. And no, like, I feel like nobody ever talks about that. Like, I had one of those like yoga balls, and I constantly, like I was doing the motion just now, I constantly rocked back and forth on that ball because my hips were just so out of whack because of the weight of the belly. Um,
wow. So the whole time you felt this, or was it more towards the end of it?
I would say halfway to the end. So like
Okay.
maybe 6 months until the final months.
Okay.
Because like I said, I'm a fairly petite lady, so carrying, all the weight of that belly and then the extra weight that I had put on, which I'm not used to carrying, it was a lot. Um, and then the most unexpected part about, you said birth.
Mm-hmm.
It's the checklist that you have to do after having a C-section. So you have to poo first before you can like get up and walk around. And I never felt so much pressure to like have to have a bowel movement in my life.
Yeah.
Especially because with my second birth, Zoe was a NICU baby. So I was very anxious to like get over to the neonatal unit to like see her. And they were like, "We're sorry, but you have to poo first before we let you go." And
Wow.
it was such a like, but what if I don't have to go? So yeah, nobody told me about that either.
Is there anything else on the checklist or just that?
So there's also like they put these massagers on your legs because you get like an epidural and you have to like, lay down for the rest of the day practically. So they put these massagers on your legs to keep the circulation going. So there's that, and then this like catheter thing that they, put in your vag so that you can pee. Like it's so many different things. So you had like to check all that off. Like you had to make sure there was enough circulation in order for you to take the things off your legs, and then get the catheter taken out and all that. So yeah, the
So you
all
do all of this before seeing your baby?
before you can get up and walk around.
Oh,
So
before you can walk around. Okay.
yeah, and that was like, for me, it was before I could see my baby. So yeah,
Wow. I mean, it makes sense because they want to make sure you're okay first before you're just moving around.
exactly.
So it makes sense. What were some of the most memorable moments during your pregnancy?
I feel like with my son, it was when I like put headphones on my belly so that he can listen to the little like nursery rhymes and all of that. And my daughter, I used to sing to her all the time when she was in my
Oh,
so and actually I did that with my son too. So I feel like, a lot of people, like my husband, my dad, they're like, "Oh gosh, you're singing, you sound like a screeching cat." But my son literally is always like, "Mom, you have the most beautiful singing voice." And I feel like he says that because maybe he subconsciously remembers me singing to him while he was in the womb. So that's just
yeah.
that's just my theory.
Yeah, I think they definitely hear that. I know my mom sung to me too, and I can
Oh,
still remember some of the songs once, not from when I was in the belly, but when I got out, I still
yeah,
remember some of the songs she sang me.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's really cute. Did you receive any advice from friends, family, or healthcare providers that really stuck with you?
Um, During pregnancy or after?
You can say both.
So after a friend of mine, because I was dealing with postpartum depression really bad because I had this kind of with my first pregnancy, it's new, you don't really know too much. And I had like this overly like desire to exclusively breastfeed my son. And I wasn't producing enough milk for him because he was a cluster feeder. And I fell into a dark place because, I had like these really dry and cracked, like, nipples and my, like every time he would nurse, I would bleed. And it was just so painful for me. So every time he would cry, like to eat, I would cry because I knew like the pain was coming, for me.
Mhm.
And the advice that I received from a friend who had given birth a few months previously, she told me that if I needed to supplement formula with my breast milk, that did not make me a bad mom.
Yeah, it doesn't at all.
Yeah, so that kind of lifted my spirits because I felt like I was not doing a good job, even though I was. But in the moment, I felt like, what's wrong? Why am I not producing enough milk? And for another mom to who had been through the same thing to tell me like, it's okay. This does not make you a bad mom if you supplement just to give yourself a break and have your husband give the baby the bottle so that you can sleep or whatever. That helped me tremendously. So that was like top tier advice that, you can't really pay for. It has to come from someone who has been, through the same things.
Yeah, of course. Everybody's body is different,
Yeah.
and you can't expect what you're going to be able to do, not be able to do. But yeah, that's really good advice.
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice you heard about motherhood that turned out to be totally wrong?
That it's the most beautiful experience. And I say that with love because I love being a mom, but nobody ever tells you that simultaneously you're going to be like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Because it literally is. And you know, the second time around, like, things definitely feel a little bit easier because you've done it once already. But the first time, again, when you're a new mom, everything that happens is new. Because every body's different, every baby's different. So people in your life may not have experienced something that your baby is going through. So you have to kind of like navigate your way through that without, a playbook, without instructions. You have to just learn this new person that you just met, learn their cries, learn, the different eyes that they give you. Like, even now, my son is 7, and there's certain ways that he looks at me, and I know what it means before he even opens his mouth. That comes with experience, and it comes with paying very close attention to this person that you don't know fully.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very difficult. It's very difficult to try to figure out what they need, what they want, how they're feeling, and then also make sure that you're raising them up to be, respectable members of society. That is a very, very, very large job to do. So yeah, I 1000% believe that motherhood is beautiful, but I also believe that it is the most difficult, most ridiculous thing that I've ever chosen to do. But I do it all over again.
Yes, it's very challenging, but very fulfilling.
Yes.
Final question. What advice would you give to mothers and fathers listening right now?
um, oh my. Do your best. Um, I give my children the same exact advice that I would give myself. So I would in turn give this to the rest of the world. If you're doing your absolute best, no one can ever ask any more of you. Um, and I know that for, in my experience, when I'm doing my best, my children see that in me and they acknowledge that in me. And even if you're doing your best and you feel like you're falling short, it's okay. Tomorrow is a new day. No, there is not a single parent on this earth that is perfect. There's not a single person on this earth that is perfect. So, again, just do the best that you can, and everything else will fall into place.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and when you're doing your best, your kids will see that and they will also replicate that too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's all we have for today. Shaquita, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Those were the fast questions.
No, we flew by that. So thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And listeners, thank you for tuning in. You've been listening to Baby Steps, sponsored by Oxford and Soho Baby. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Bye.
You've been listening to Baby Steps, sponsored by Oxford and Soho Baby. If you're in the market for a new crib, glider, dresser, or more, we'd love for you to check out our line of furniture. Head over to oxfordbabyandkids.com or sohobaby.com. All links are within the show notes. For more information as a listener, enter the code PODCAST10 for 10% off your total purchase, plus free shipping on all orders over $799. Thanks for listening and tune into our next episode. Bye for now, and remember, every step is a step towards progress. We hope today's story gives you the confidence and the assurance that every journey is different, but we do it together.